Hey guys, just thought I'd do a run through of my backyard, the gardens that I have and the little systems that I got going on, so I figure it's a good place to start. So my first thing I have is the chicken coop here. Just to run through what I have built inside. Got a couple broody hens in here right now. These two look like they're being broody. I don't know why she's not in a nesting box, but anyways, got their nesting boxes in little plastic containers. It just really helps to keep it clean. I've really enjoyed that. I do mostly the deep litter method. That's been really nice. Inside of the other half, I just have roosting bars. This is for my meat birds, which they're still mostly chicks right now. And mostly have them this year as roosters. They didn't have any of the actual meat bird varieties because everybody stress bought them this year. But have them set up in here. Don't have the heat lamp on anymore. Temperatures have been definitely well enough that they can sustain themselves. Just always got projects going on. I just rebuilt this section of the fence here. Going into the actual laying hens area, they mostly free range. They have full access to go outside all they want. I've got their food system going on. 5-gallon bucket with the lid on it, flipped upside down on top of a brick. Keeps it at a constant level, and it's 5 gallons of water. Real easy and cheap. This bucket system, I kind of want to improve this a little bit more. I do have netting that's back in here, so the rats can't really get in there, but they do eat it, and that's what I want to try to figure out how to omit. Inside, it's a sloped ramp, so the feed kind of naturally pulls itself down, and that's really that. This is my wood shed here. I do woodwork on the side also, and I like building everything myself. I built almost everything here. That shed was there, but I refaced it. And on top of here, since I get pretty good afternoon to about 5 o'clock sunlight, it's really good for seed starting, and that's something that I did this year. However, all these poles here is a score that I got this year. I think they're like 5 by 8 or so greenhouses. So I'll be setting those up in my garden area, which I will go through the garden. So this is the first year that I built this fence here. I really love having this fence because my 3 dogs that run the yard can't get in here. It's been amazing. Last year they destroyed my garden. So what I got going in the garden is this whole run here is all my peppers. I've got 70 something pepper plants and a bunch of various different varieties of them. So going down on either side, I got 2 runs of them. My overhead sprinkler system, I don't really have to worry about any weird mildew problems because I live in Utah. It's I think it's zone 6B if you're looking at the USDA scale. It's been really nice having that scale because I really don't have to worry about that. I can run water overhead and everything dries off pretty quickly because it's pretty dry here. Anyways, a lot of my peppers, I'm really excited. I got a lot of sets coming on pretty much all of them. Except my paprikas in the back here. No, the paprikas are here. Those are doing really well. It's the pimenta pumas, which are back here. I haven't seen any sets on those. I see blossoms, but no actual fruiting yet. And the only other thing I haven't had come up yet are these, which if you know what they look like, you'll know what they are. They got ugly curly leaves. The peppers are really ugly and curly. Those are my Carolina Reapers. I'm really hoping to get some of those this year. I want to try and make a sauce out of them. I think that would be amazing. I have various sunflowers going around, mostly because I just have the bird feeder in here, which I just get black sunflower, and they drop a bunch, and so I get a bunch of sunflower, and I just kind of let them do what they do. Down here I got a lot more cayenne pepper, jalapeno, a lot more of my hot peppers. Towards the front are more of the sweet peppers, but I do have the Carolina Reapers and stuff. And I know I'll probably deal with a little cross pollination, but I'm not really particular. As you can see in my garden, I kind of just mass plant things, let things grow as they will, and everything does well for me. Had a bunch of radish here. I'm letting some of them go to seed. See if I can save some seed from those. Got all my cayennes here, jalapenos here, and then starting from the pole going down, you'll see this little system that I've got going, a little A-frame with all these stringers going down. These are all my tomatoes, and all I do with these is I just twist it around as the plant gets bigger. And these are all vining tomatoes, which means they get suckers on them like this that come out of each little like armpit, I would call it. And just pick those off and let it go. If you don't pick them off, you'll eventually get this massive horde of a plant that doesn't really do much for you. So I just kind of want to show you what one looks like real quick if I can find one. I just picked a bunch of suckers off the other day. I do plant some lettuce at the ends, and then all around here, all this bushy stuff is all lamb's quarter. It's really good in salads, especially young and tender. I mean, you could take just these, pick it. I don't want that, but yeah, pick that. It's good. So I let that grow. As they get too big, you can see this, I just snap it off and throw it down on the ground and use it as a mulch. So anyways, onto the tomatoes. So this is a good example here. So this here is my main stem. If it'll focus. There you go. So main stem goes up, you can see it continues another main part. However, right here, let's zoom in on that. You can see that little sucker trying to come off. So I just go here, pink, take those out so that it just continues. All you want is main leaf, and your main stem. Occasionally you'll get these, which are obviously your blossom sets for your tomatoes. So I've got 26 tomato plants in here. I have just a few beefsteak bushes going, or bush steaks, not beefsteaks, going on. Then I cage those ones because those are a determinate variety, meaning that they grow a very determinate path. And if you try to prune those, you're just limiting how many tomatoes you're getting. These are indeterminate. They will grow indeterminately. They just keep going and going and going like an Energizer bunny. So anyways, I got a lot of other things. This is cilantro. I'm letting this bolt so I can get to seed and I can get the coriander from it. And down here I've got some beets that are on the front side. Kind of hard to tell, but there you go. You get to see that red. More cilantro, more coneflower. What else do I got in here? I think that's about it that I have in here. I do have some herbs kind of spread throughout. Some new starts of thyme and rosemary, basil. So that's this garden area. In my next garden area over here, this is mostly my not as intensively managed area, so try to keep all that separated. Obviously, corn, I just threw a whole pack of seed down in here and kind of semi-rows and just haphazardly did it, and they'll grow and I'll get corn, and that's that. I don't intensively manage anything. Back here I've got all my cucumber. As they start going, they're just starting to really catch now. I do normally have a string system set up between here that I trellis them up in between all the strings going up. So this side gets really good morning sun comes up from that way. So I get all that morning sun that hits them by about afternoon, again, straight down. It does shade them. They'd probably do better in a little more sun, but again, it works well for my needs. Around the whole perimeter, I've got watermelon, cantaloupe, zucchini, spaghetti squash, all those vining stuff that will go in between all the corn and take up that extra space I've got. All around here, so this is my compost bin. I'm gonna be rebuilding that to make it a little easier to get in. I just built that when I had scrap lumber. But around it, I've got a ton of just random volunteer plants. I've got zucchini going up, I've got tons of tomato going up. So I just step around those. I'm gonna let those grow as they will, and what I can harvest from that, I'll harvest from that. This whole patch here, I've got a bunch of Chinese amaranth. And again, I don't really do much with it. I eat some of it. It's really good, delicate leaves. There is some pigweed in here that I've been picking out, getting rid of that. But got more red amaranth back there. I've got some bok choy coming up over here. I've got some more cilantro coming up over here. Got some spinach, some broccoli, and then continuing along, I should have had strawberry, but none of my strawberry came along in this area here, so I need to re-get that going. And then towards the back here, I've got some few mounds going on. All this is my potato. I don't eat a whole lot of potato, so that'll be more than enough for me and my wife. Down the middle, I've got red onion. I love red onion. And then down the side here, it's kind of hard to see those. They're first year from crowns asparagus. So as all that starts going, they say by about the third year, you should be able to start picking some. I've really been able to take just a few pieces from it from my other area, but really it's best to really let it get to that third year so that you have a lot more of it to eat. This area here I'm mostly fenced off. This is just my grass to let the dogs run around, but I mostly fenced it off because I plumbed all this irrigation that I was talking about. I plumbed all of that and I had to dig up that whole corner. So I just took the opportunity to sequester off some of these other bare patches that the dogs kind of destroy in the wintertime. That one dog wants to play. Some of the trees I got, I had a what was that, apricot that was here that died, but I've got a cherry tree that I just discovered. I didn't even realize it. It's got 3 different types that are grafted in: a sour, sweet, and a bitter. This one here is my peach tree. Peach is doing okay. Had one peach before that went suicidal on me and died randomly after having a bounty year one year, and the next year it was done. So there was one little peach on here that was going. I kind of figured the birds were going to get it before I had a chance to, which is fine. This is the first year after planting it last fall. And then I just transplanted this from a little start from a seed. It's just a quaking aspen, nothing fancy. This is my apple tree, and I got a lot of sets on the apple this year. I haven't really seen a whole lot of codling moth damage this year. So what I've been doing, after a few years of being in this house is around the whole base of the tree is where codling moths will live as they're in their larva. And what I've been doing, I have chickens that free range. I've been spreading some scratch around the bottom of the tree, and just kind of hoping that as the codling moths start coming up for the blossoms, that they will get eaten by the chickens. And so far, this year is the first year where I've really seen a huge difference. I don't try to spray anything in my yard, so I stay away from that. I did heavily prune this tree finally. It was getting really tall, so I really lopped it short this year, and trying to keep it short and wide because I don't want to really get on a ladder and climb up there. I've got a couple seeded logs, I don't know what you call it, for mushrooms back in here, so we'll see if those come up. Down the whole side of my yard here, I've got strawberry, no, it's a grapevine. And these are Concord grapes. I like to make my own grape juice. It is delicious. And it's doing great this year. It could use more sun. This is again just in the morning sun area, morning to just before afternoon. But again, it does well for my needs. This is the first year I'm going to be getting a bounty of berries from my blackberry or raspberry bush. I don't remember what these are. Planted this years ago, didn't hardly do anything, and it's the first year it's finally doing something. So I'm excited about that. I don't know if you can tell, I have strung up here some wire that just goes left and right across. And so as this one reaches the top, which it is just touching, I don't know if you can see that wire, but just touching there, so I'll pretty soon start to run one across the wire that way, run the other one across the wire that way. So I'm excited for that. I did plant a blackberry there, so we'll see how that one goes. And this was where I was talking about I had the other asparagus. I had more that was here, but I haven't really blocked this area off. So again, the dogs run through here, the chickens run through here, and they've really kind of destroyed that one. But it should have a pretty solid base because every year I just let them go and kind of energize the roots, and we'll see what happens. And then I have a little archery range here because I've got this whole stretch here that I can aim it at, but I want to move it because if I miss, there's the street right there, so it kind of makes me nervous. So I want to flip it to that way and build a bigger backdrop around it. But anyways, that's my yard that I got. It's a good catch, Gunner. And yeah, I will keep posting videos as I do projects and other stuff around the yard, and you'll see me in other videos doing more exciting things. Alrighty, thank you. Bye-bye.